What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer.
Welcome to CODSWALLOP, the show about nonsense. My name is Fraulein Caitlin.
My name is Trevor Claire Martin. Some people call me Trevor C. to distinguish me from other Trevor Martins.
Oh.
Because there's a lot of Trevor Martins in the Mennonite world.
Oh, Mennonite world.
Yes.
You know, that gives me an idea, Trevor.
What is that idea?
We should do another video about Mennonites.
Yes.
We are about to school you.
School you? Yeah, we are.
With Mennonite 102.
Yes. A number of people have mentioned they enjoyed that episode, learned a lot of things, and we enjoyed as well. It's fun to just kind of like delve back into our heritage and talk about a lot of things that we grew up with.
Yes.
A lot of things that are very unique. A lot of things that make our culture rich and special.
And things that we don't necessarily think are rich and special
Yeah.
until we realize that other people don't do it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what?
Exactly. And every culture has these things.
Yeah. We're going to discuss a little bit more about some Mennonite things today, some traditions, some of those unique to Mennonite things that other people have never heard of in their life, and maybe a few little Mennonite lingo terms as well that we've always used and you've probably never heard of. I'm going to do one first. Okay. So I wanted to start with a word that we've always used a lot in my family growing up, and that is the word sput.
Sput, yeah.
So you're familiar with this word? Sputting, which is sort of to make fun of.
To mock.
To mock.
Yeah.
You know, when you sput somebody, you're kind of mocking them. And sometimes it's a little tongue-in-cheek, which I'm 100% okay with. And that's what sputting, like, if I'll sput Trevor, you're sort of joking on him, like you're mocking him a little bit.
Okay, so here's an interesting one. I don't know if you've heard of this term specifically, Caitlin.
Okay.
I think it's very specific to a certain kind of Mennonites.
Okay.
Kiveling.
I have not.
So kiveling is a form of percussion that was done at a dance. So the first video we made, we discussed singings, if you recall properly. So singings, let's just quickly, briefly remind them what singings are.
Singings, well, I'm not the one to even say this because this is more your culture thing than mine. But singings is basically when the youth group would get together on a Sunday evening, I think primarily, and you would just sing. You'd sing hymns and praise songs, and that was your event for that evening. Yeah.
And we talked about some of the things that happened after the singing.
Making eyes,
walking out.
See, I learned things.
Yeah, but in a certain tradition of Mennonites, they also had a dance.
Not my Mennonites.
A lot of Mennonites are not encouraged to dance, but there's a certain strand of Mennonites where dancing is almost expected. Anyway, back to kiveling. So dancing happened, and there were a couple boys who would sit along the side of the dance floor, which would often happen in the kitchen. The tables, chairs would get pushed to the side. Everybody had a partner, they would dance. I attended one of these.
Seriously?
I was very fortunate to go to one of these dances and witness this for myself. So, they have these buckets, or bowls, like big bowls, and metal pails and bowls.
I can tell I'm already gonna sput.
And they would do something like this, except it was a bowl.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, it was crazy. They were good. And they would do like this. But they would keep a rhythm.
Almost like the drums in like East Coast Celtic music.
Yes. But they used whatever they had on hand. And I'm telling you...
Because drums are wrong. See, I'm sputting.
I went and saw this in action. And they were fantastic.
Cool.
Really good rhythm. But they would actually play so long that their knuckles would start bleeding.
Yikes.
Yeah, this was very intense. So that's kiveling.
That's amazing.
Kibbling and dancing after the singing.
Didn't happen at my church. I'm gonna just keep on track with the lingo one because I had a bunch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is actually a word at all. Shig?
I have not heard this one.
Yeah, I don't know. This might just be a word that my mom made up.
Shig.
Shig.
Oh.
It's
Shig or
kind of
shit?
like, well, shig is how we'd say it. And it's kind of to describe somebody's work ethic.
Oh, I have
Like
not
we'd say
heard this one.
that Trevor Martin has good shig. Maybe that's just something my mom made up.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of words in the Pennsylvania Dutch dialect that...
Let me know if you've ever heard that word or if that is strictly an
Shig.
Elizabeth Gerber lingo.
Keeping that out.
Shig.
Shig.
She never said you had good shig, Trevor. Just kidding.
So quilting bees. You've probably already got this one figured out. If you haven't heard about it, it's basically a bee, which is an event where ladies get together and they quilt. So they'll sit around this quilt in a room, and there's maybe like 10, 15 ladies quilting.
There's probably more at some point.
And I'm telling you, this is not just about quilting.
No.
No, this is where the latest gossip happens.
Well, let's call it news.
Was that sputting?
That was sputting.
This is where they're able to catch up.
Yes.
And talk to each other and about things that are happening in their community. I don't know why it's called a bee. Maybe because
it's like a spelling bee. A bee is like an event.
Bees working together, furiously, quilting or talking about each other's honeys.
Stop it. So, something that you need to know about Mennonites, especially Mennonite youth, is that we love our sports.
Yeah, we do.
However, there are only 3 that we are allowed to play. So I am sputting once again.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I apologize. It's going to happen a lot. So the 3 sports that we are allowed to play are volleyball, crokinole, and the newest addition that has just been passed by your bishop, spike ball.
And I love spike ball. And you don't like
I think
spike
it's super overrated, but that's just because I have an attitude problem with spike ball.
I think there's an attitude problem.
I think there's an attitude problem there that I need to work through.
One thing I've heard recently is that people who play spike ball are either Mennonites or frat boys from universities.
There was actually an article, I believe by the New York Times, on this very subject.
Really?
Which is phenomenal to me.
Interesting, yeah.
So,
it's interesting.
Mennonites don't play a lot of organized sports, but when it comes to those 3, they're the masters.
And they'll play in a lot of tournaments. So they'll have these huge tournaments to raise funds for charities and different events. Cool stuff.
It is. It really is cool.
I played in a lot of volleyball tournaments back in the day. I kind of miss that.
I actually hate volleyball with a passion.
What do you like?
I love crokinole.
Crokinole!
And don't take me seriously, we play all kinds of sports.
So we haven't talked about food yet in this episode. So pineapple rings. Do you know what pineapple rings are?
I do.
You're very well accustomed to pineapple rings.
I'm a Mennonite.
I don't even know if this is a Mennonite food specifically, but we had a lot of pineapple rings. So basically, if it's pineapple rings in their can, and you pour Jell-O in, and then when it gels, you take the pineapples out and you slice them up, and you have these pineapples with Jell-O around them.
Yeah.
And so if you think that food in Jell-O was a thing of the 70s and is past, no, it's alive and well.
It's alive and well.
Yeah, this is still happening, and it's actually quite delicious.
I don't like pineapple. Wow, I am just a massive downer.
Yeah.
I don't like volleyball.
Well, do you like deviled eggs?
I love deviled eggs.
Oh, well, there you go. Do you like French fry casserole?
I love French fried casserole.
Another classic. Yeah.
Here's a term for you. Verhoodled.
Yes. Verhoodled.
Verhoodled is something that happens when you're flustered.
Oh, yeah.
Would you not say?
Yes.
Like, I'm all verhoodled. I'm kind of like, I'm confused. Would you not? It's like...
Are you verhoodled?
Right now, sometimes I get verhoodled making these videos.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what I was
I
talking
don't know what I was
talking about. I'm verhoodled.
I'm verhoodled.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great word?
It's really good, and I think it just kind of describes the word. No. I think.
You're verhoodled. This is amazing.
I'm verhoodled. The sigh. Do you know what I'm talking? Can you
I
guess
have
what I'm talking
the
about?
sigh of relief
Well, it could be.
when church is over.
Well, it's almost like that.
Oh man.
Take a guess. This is a term I made up.
Well, that's.
I call it the
Oh.
sigh.
Oh, okay. So this is something that happens. I would honestly go with the end of a service.
What? No, it's
Okay.
the end of a prayer. So, in some cultures, especially mine, we would have these prayers before meals, and
heard
you'd
of
have
this.
this long, and it
of
wasn't an
this.
audible prayer; it was a silent prayer.
Right.
I don't know where that came from, but it was more reverent, I guess. Everybody prays on their own, with their eyes closed, their heads bowed. You're not looking at each other. You're praying.
Yes.
Okay.
I get the general.
And this could
idea.
last for quite a while, a quite lengthy amount of time.
Yeah.
But in my culture, often amen wasn't said. Like there was no audible amen. So basically everyone's just kind of waiting. So what the
So the sigh.
so the father at the table, whoever's house this was, would do like this
I can totally imagine what that would be like.
so you never did this?
No,
Yeah.
we prayed out loud.
You are
Everyone,
more holy,
all at
aren't you?
So that brings us to the end of our Mennonite 102, and we hope that you've learned a little something about Mennonites.
Yes, I had a lot of fun.
But who didn't? I think we all
I think we all
did.
I hope we did.
And yeah, I think that's about it. Leave comments below. We know that you will, regardless of us asking for them.
You probably have more questions now than you did before you started
That is true.
watching this, and we understand.
Please send them our way. We promise we will not answer any of them.
That's right.
And if you're looking for the sources on what we use to talk about anything today,
There's
there's none.
There's no source.
None whatsoever.
But we promise it was true. Wow, that didn't work.
We promise that it's true. So thank you for joining us, and until next time, see you later.
Peace.
Ready?